Welcome back to Barwick, everyone. It's Kinch coming at you again with my crappy mic and to look at our most recent war from March 21st against, I'm not even going to attempt to say this clan's name. I don't know how to pronounce it. But this was a great war. I know it ended up as a tie, which kind of happens pretty frequently on these lower level 10-man wars. But I feel like this was our best war so far, and we're going to go through a couple examples, give some shout outs to some really great attacks, and look at why I think this was a much improved war for us. I'm not going to lie, I was a tiny bit nervous at one point. I knew we had enough attacks, but I wasn't confident that everyone was going to attack. Morbius coming in clutch with the final stars of the war. I appreciate you guys getting your attacks in. So we had 16 out of 20 attacks used. That is fantastic. I'd love it to be 20 out of 20, but I'll take 16 and a perfect war any day. So let's go look at a couple of attacks. I want to start off by giving Calico a shout out and looking at his 3-star. Now, one thing that I want to give him a shout out for is Calico actually put in the first attack of the entire war and found out the hard way that inside the enemy clan castles were dragons. We all appreciate you taking that bullet for us, Calico. That can be nerve-wracking to be the first attack of the war anyway. To do it and to find out that there's a big bad dragon waiting for you, not much fun. But he bounced back with this attack. Went with ground troops. We're going to watch this through at double time. The whole attack, I think, took about 2 minutes. I will say, I think he started off with some lightnings on the clan castle. That, if you can kill the clan castle before troops pop out, it does kill the troops. I don't know how many lightnings that would take, so I don't know if you can actually even bring enough lightnings to do that. But good use of spreading the wizards out to kill the dragon. Once the dragon's dead, the rest of your troops are just... The troops at this level are so powerful that you spam them in like this after you've cleared the clan castle, and it's really hard for the enemy defenses to stop you. I mean, so many troops left over, and you've hit, like I just saw some wizards go flying, but you still got like 5 wizards for the cleanup and a ton of giants. So good job. Easy 3-star. Good job clearing that clan castle. That was the key to this one. Let's take a look at a couple of twin attacks. Their base 9 and 10 had the same layout, which is ironic because it was kind of a terrible layout. We got 2 different attacks, one from Pie King, one from K-Pick. A lot of similarities in the attacks. So let's start with Pie King. So bringing a bunch of barbarians, some balloons, and some giants. Let's speed this up. I don't typically bring barbarians to any kind of war attacks. Barbarians do serve their purpose, but they're not as flexible as archers. They can't attack air troops, and there's a lot of little things like that that don't make them very practical. However, they work in this instance. The balloons from the enemy clan castle survive for a bit until you drop these wizards. Those wizards save a couple of your giants, which at this point we're just in cleanup mode anyway, because you took out all 5 of the defenses right off the bat. So a little bit of what I call the outrun method. I'll explain that a little more when we watch K-Pick's attack. So now this is not a replay of Pie King's. K-Pick has a similar army construction, a lot of barbarians, some giants, and some balloons. K-Pick went, at some point it appeared like what I call the outrun method, and that is if you don't have enough troops to kill the clan castle troops, the enemy clan castle troops, you just try to go really fast and outrun them. So the enemy balloons move slowly, so you can get some damage in with some of these barbarians and those giants, and the enemy balloons have trouble catching up to you. Eventually those balloons do catch up to all of your troops, but then they don't attack your balloons, so your balloons are plenty to clean up. So just keep in mind in the future, and K-Pick actually asked me about this, and we talked about it, and I saw he did it in his second attack, which was you bring a little more archers, and then that way you have the flexibility to kill any air troops that may be in the clan castle. Also, props to K-Pick for practicing his war attacks using his second attack, even though at that point we already had 30 stars. So thank you K-Pick for using both attacks and working at getting better. I appreciate it. Next, I want to look at Morbius's attack on their base 5 for a couple of reasons. One, he uses a really good ground attack, and he figured out a way to take care of this enemy dragon that's in the clan castle. So if the enemy brings a big bad dragon in their clan castle to kill all your troops, then you just bring an even bigger and badder dragon in your clan castle, and that takes care of it. But in addition to that, he brings 23 giants, a heal spell, and a healer. That will destroy just about any town hall. I think this was a town hall 6. So you can see that those, because there's so many giants, they act as their own wall breakers. They just tear through the walls. The late add of the healer to keep that whole group healthy. Healers do I think a little bit of splash heal, so this is really, really good attack. So for those of you, my preference is balloons at this level, but this is a really good example of how effective giants can be. So giants are very, very viable, very, very good attack. I will do a video. I think I have recorded some of it. I'll do a video on those giant attacks here in the coming days. I also want to give a shout out to Rooster, who for back-to-back wars has been very, very close to 3 stars, and in this war he actually came really close to 2 3 stars. I don't even know if he realizes how close he was, although I did mention it to him in the chat. So his first attack was against their base 8. I'm going to show you the difference in what would have made this a 3-star attack. So first of all, Rooster does a fantastic job of getting this dragon out of the way and killing it. So he pulls it over here to the corner, throws down some archers and wizards, kills the dragon. That was beautiful. However, we used our lightnings over here on this mortar. I think if we use it over here on this air defense and get this wizard tower at the same time, this is an easy 3-star. You can see that essentially your balloons took out everything else except those 2 structures. By using the lightning spells over here on this mortar, that mortar wasn't really going to do anything to your balloons anyway. So just that one small tweak, that would have been a 3-star, but a great job taking out the enemy clan castle. Alright, let's take a quick look at Rooster's second attack. I could feel his frustration in the chat after this. This was really, really good attack with 2, it's really one tiny error. And we got to watch it really carefully, and I'll show you what happens. I'll pause it. So he does a great job of pulling the clan castle troops up here. So he's got the dragons up here, but when he drops these wizards, this wizard here focuses on the clan castle just for 1 attack, but that, you know, sometimes can make all the difference. And this guy up here to the right, I'll call him Jerry. Jerry is focusing on this army camp, and so they don't hit the dragon. This guy does. He does hit the dragon, but not initially. And Jerry up there, Jerry, I don't even know what you were doing. So Jerry just hammers away at that army camp, and then that's the difference right there. So in the meantime, Rooster, I'm going to pause it again. Rooster had started concentrating on his balloons and deploying his balloons because he assumed that the dragon was dead. Because he did dump enough troops to do that. However, I mean, it didn't happen. It was unfortunate. So then, if we watch this play out, the dragon comes and kills, especially when all these balloons get kind of bunched up by the sweeper. The sweeper kind of pushes them off to the side, and then they all bunch up, and then all the splash damage from the dragon kind of kills everybody. So I really feel like if Rooster had, you know, if Jerry had been paying attention up there and killing the dragon, this was probably a 3-star attack. So good job, Rooster. You stick with it. You're gonna get us tons and tons of stars in the future. All right, let's look at one last attack. For me, this was the attack of the war. Muffins. You know how excited I was. So Muffins did he did his first attack and didn't 3-star. His second attack, he asked me for some help, and I gave him, if you guys were watching chat, I gave him like a complete rundown. It was like 10 steps. Do this, do this, do this. I kind of micromanaged it. I have done that in the past for players, and almost inevitably, it never goes to plan. But Muffins put it together perfectly, even though I appreciate that he trusted what I was saying, because he was very doubtful that it would work. And the truth is that I mean, this is a tough base for the troops that he was deploying. So I wasn't 100% sure it would work, but I was pretty confident. So he starts off with his lightning, then he does the same thing that Rooster did. He pulls the dragon out, but now I told him to do this. We're going to pull the dragon all the way to the other side of the base, which may seem like a time waste, and it's definitely not a time saver. I'll explain why we did this here in a moment. Now, Rooster brought a bunch of wizards, as several of you did, and I'm going to pause it right here and point out that Muffins doesn't have any wizards. He specifically asked me about that. It kind of becomes a preference thing. One of the reasons why I don't like to bring wizards is because their housing space is such that when you lose them, I feel like it's more impactful. So if they step over a spring trap, it's essentially losing like 4 archers. But again, this is a preference thing, so we'll keep playing here. I'm going to speed it up. So it does take a lot of archers to kill this dragon, but I want you to watch what happens to the archers after they kill the dragon. And we'll kind of zoom out here. So it takes a lot, but these guys all survive, and I think he loses one of them for the rest of the attack. So he drops his balloons in 4 strategic places. They all converge on these wizard towers at the end. That was the part that had us nervous, but he does take them down. And then he's got the rest of his balloons and these archers. He dropped archers in the corners to help speed up the attack. And boom, a big 3-star. Now, you guys may not realize this was a really, really crucial attack. I don't know that we had enough attacks left. If Muffins doesn't 3-star this, then we probably don't tie the war. So this was really, really crucial, and he pulled off this attack perfectly. So Muffins, great job. Again, then Morbius came in. He cleaned up, I think, their base 5 and 8, and without those attacks, without any of your guys' attacks, we wouldn't have tied this war. So really, really great job. So super excited. I appreciate you guys and all your attacks. Chef cleaning up 1 and 2 as he does with ease every time makes it super easy for the rest of us, because then we get to push down into some lower bases and use the strength of our troops to take care of those. So Chef, you too are greatly appreciated. So I appreciate you guys so much. We got our next war set up here. It's going to go off in about 14 hours. Oh, and someone has already filled up a bunch of the clan castles. Guys, thank you so much. Oh, we got big dragons in there. I assume that's from Chef. Chef, thank you so much. You are greatly appreciated. I love the fact that you guys are all active participants in this clan. So thank you guys so much. So we will do this again here in 14 hours. We'll hopefully use some of those things we've been practicing and clearing out those clan castles, and hopefully these guys won't be as good as the last clan, and we can get another win. Alright, let's shoot for another perfect war. 30 stars should do it, and we will see you guys on battle day.